Hey, this is Shane,
And this is Keith.
and we are Seekers of the
Unknown. All right, here we go. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Hope you guys are ready for what's in store for this episode because I'm kind of excited for it.
This one, this one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Men in Black. And I'm not talking about the movie from 1997 with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, this is not gonna be the first movie review that we do.
Though that might be something in the future. I would be down to rewatch that movie, which I was gonna do before this episode, but I'd rather, watch stuff about what the movie was influenced by, which is what we're gonna be talking about.
Yo,
So, Men in Black, basically, they're there to like quiet people that has seen like a UFO or digging a little too deep into like the aliens, UFO kind of thing, or if they've seen something and are gonna, go and let everybody know. You get visited by these strange men.
you know, some might think a government official or something show up and, hey, you didn't see anything. We're gonna flash you.
Yeah, basically like what if you've seen the movie, they wear the black suits and the hats and erase your memory. Very very similar to actual accounts of Men in Black. They wear like a black suit. Sometimes they have a top hat. Sometimes they're kind of a buzz cut or bald. But here's the weird thing about them. They've been known to have basically like almost like fake like white skin, kind of like pale, almost like a doll. Uh, they don't have any color to their eyes. Their eyes are just, I mean, they, like the whites, but like the irises are just black. They have no eyebrows. They have no eyelashes, and they have a blank expression, and very very creepy. So if you find yourself digging a little deep into this podcast, you might be visited by a Men in Black tonight.
We haven't yet, but who knows after this? It very well may happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wouldn't be surprised if I go home and there's a black car. Yes, so sometimes they're like just parked outside of your house or wherever you are in a black car.
but it's always like an old car. It's always
Yeah,
like an old like black Lincoln or something.
yeah. I don't think they know about sports cars like current sports cars. Um, so I I actually found out about Men in Black. I think I seen the movie first, to be honest, because it was out when I was a kid.
Yep.
So I watched that. I had no idea that it had anything to do. It was based on anything real. I thought it was just like all fiction. And
And that's like when I first learned about Men in Black was obviously the movies, and I thought they were like government officials that secretly fought aliens and kept peace, and then you start actually getting into everything and you realize it's like almost complete opposite. Like they're coming to the people to tell them to be quiet and keep the peace, and like you didn't see it, and it's they're almost there more for bad than good, I feel.
yeah, they like threaten you, and if you do this, you're watch out. Your loved ones might be in jeopardy, something like that.
Yep. Yep.
But my first account of actual like Men in Black, probably my grandmother used to listen to Coast AM all
Yep.
the time when I was younger with Arbel, rest in peace. Uh, so I remember one time, I don't know, we were driving somewhere, and she was listening to an episode where I believe I could be wrong. I might be getting different stories mixed up, but I believe the guy there was an instance of like a hotel manager, and upon research, is in Niagara Falls, New York, that him and a bunch of his coworkers at the hotel saw UFOs. And then the manager saw a UFO again in more detail, like triangular shaped, hovering above the trees or
Yep.
wherever.
I think there was that instance it was mainly like the manager and one other guy that saw like the big sighting, the with the triangular ship and
Oh yeah,
everything.
dude, that's wild.
I
You know,
couldn't I couldn't imagine you like taking the trash out at night or something and you look up and there's just a ship.
I would be like, nope. uh, so yeah, apparently when he wasn't there, the manager, he wasn't at his job, but there's accounts and there's a famous picture or video of these two men in black walking into the hotel. But I guess the hotel was visited by the two men in black, and they were questioning the employees about what they saw. Um, the hotel manager came in the next. I forgot his name, but he came the next day, and he was pulled aside by one of his employees, a girl, and she said that like she was interviewed by like, or at least talked to the men in black, and she just wanted to like share her experience because it just made her feel so uncomfortable. And she talked about she noticed that they had no eyebrows, they had no eyelashes, they looked exactly the same, they looked almost like not real. They had blank expression, they talked in monotone, and the way that their eyes like looked into her, she felt like they were like reading her soul or like her mind or something. Like just made her very very uncomfortable. And they wouldn't blink. That's another thing. They don't blink.
Right. And I know they said that even other guests at the hotel that were just in the lobby at the time felt super uncomfortable. Like if you watch the video and you can see the video online of them walking in through the double doors, they're like abnormally tall. Their shoulders are like artificially the size they are. You can see where it's not proportioned and it's almost like there's something there holding their jackets on them. Almost like almost like they don't have like skin and stuff to hold the clothes on. Like there's something holding them on for them.
It's almost like in the Men in Black movie, the one, the fictional one, where like all like the roach things are all
Yeah.
like in the suit
Yup.
pretending to be the guy. That's definitely
Yup.
influenced by that, I think. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, and the way they walk too, they like
Yeah, they were like they don't bend almost. It
yeah.
almost only bend like at the knees. Weird, very weird.
And some people say like, oh, maybe the footage like the pixels and slightly distorted and makes it look like that. But this is a podcast about the paranormal and UFOs, so we're gonna go ahead and say that they were actual Men in Black.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple different theories even in that. Um, if they are human or alien or even artificial intelligence and or you know
So what do you think they are? We'll tell you our theories or ideas.
I think it was tough because until I really like dove into it, I thought that they potentially could have just been government officials and they, shave their eyebrows and all their hair and things like that, just so they're less like trackable. Like they have less features that you could really go by. But then you dive into it and just the stories you hear about, when their people are visited by them and things like that, start to think, yeah, with the skin looks fake. It looks like they have like makeup on, things like that. Yeah, I think they could be, you know, extraterrestrial or hybrid even. You know, they could have that appearance because they are alien, but they work with our government and
Our tinfoil hats are on full effect right now. Just for the record, at least for me. Yeah, they could be aliens. They could be workers of the aliens. They could have been like, um, what's the word? Like created, but like, uh, man, I'm having a brain fart right now. Like,
like in a lab, like
yeah, but they're still living, or you know what I mean. They're living. They're not. They could be robots too.
clones.
Clones, yeah. Um, I don't know the word I'm trying to say. like a flesh and bone creature, you know. But yeah, they're definitely of some kind of like alien nature. It's like you said, they're probably like aliens working with human, like with the government or whatever secret organization that knows everything that wants to keep everybody quiet if they're digging a little too deep. Um, so I think yeah, they're probably a creation of that or a hybrid of some sort, but they're not human. I don't think they're human.
I yeah, the more I think about it, I don't either. And like you hear, stories the one in the 40s of the fisherman that was out in Puget Sound in Washington. I actually lived out there for a while. It is beautiful out there, by the way. But he said he was out, in Puget Sound, and there was some crafts that were coming over him, and they were donut shaped. I think that was the first time I've ever heard of donut shaped, crafts with an actual hole in the middle.
Yeah.
But he said one was I've heard two different stories that it was malfunctioning and breaking down, and like parts of it were falling off and falling onto his boat. And then I heard that it was shooting stuff at him and trying to attack him. So who knows? But I'm just gonna go with the story that it was malfunctioning. And anyways, I guess he got like a piece of it on his boat, and it injured him. And I think he had like a dog on there or something that injured the dog. Well, he was at home and he was visited by a man in black. And, the guy came in. He was really weird. He sat down and it looked like he had makeup on him, and his skin was like, yeah, like fake, almost like, I don't know if you've ever touched like a dolphin or something, like that real weird, like
Oh,
almost like
silky,
aquatic, like feeling.
slimy, but like
Yeah,
not really.
but the guy just, asked him what he saw, kind of threatened him, and then the man in black started almost like mumbling his words and said that like he was running out of energy and he had to go, and like the guy at that point realized like he had like no lips. It was like a slit, and he had almost like lipstick on that was supposed to look like lips. And the more he looked at him, he realized how fake he was, and he was didn't have the features of a human, and he was oddly tall and everything. And so the man in black said he had to go, but before he left, he told him that he had a nickel in his pocket. And the guy's like, yeah, and pulled it out, and he was holding it in his hand. And the man in black, had him look at it, and all of a sudden it got like scrambled, and then it disappeared. And he said, if you don't stop, this is what's gonna.
I'm gonna make you disappear.
Yeah.
Literally.
So then I guess he walked out of his house and went around the corner, and there was like a flash, and he was gone. And like real weird, like you know, at
That's
that point
crazy.
there wasn't that technology.
That makes me wonder, if it is like an alien working with like humans, I feel like why wouldn't a human just go threaten him? Like, I mean, I'm sure in the military or like there's been there's been examples of like maybe not examples, but instances, there's the word, of like people knowing too much and then higher powers being like, you better not say anything or I'm going to blackmail you or this and that. I wonder why it's like not a person doing it and why Men in Black? Why not just like a actual person official? You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe it is something a little bit bigger than us. Maybe someone, I don't know. I'm just thinking of some theories here.
It's weird though, because then you have like the Stan Romanek story, and he deals with government officials, but they end up supposedly blackmailing him, and that's how he's like in jail because they framed him for crimes he didn't do, and blah blah blah. But yeah, like you said, why some people just say it's somebody that shows up and talks to them.
Yeah, it's like why do the Men in Black have to do that? Why can't just a human do that? And the only reason I can think of is just a little bit above, humans. It's like whoever they work for, doesn't want people to know either.
Right. And I
Maybe they don't trust that that will keep them quiet. You know.
I did hear one. This was the only time I've ever heard this story about Men in Black with this person waking up at night and it like uh coming out of the air and turning into like a Man in Black, and they almost consider it more like the Hat Man, in
Okay.
that kind of like thinking that's where the theory of Men in Black came from, is like the Hat Man,
Yeah.
but that would be more.
I mean, if Homie can make a nickel phase out of reality, I'm sure he can make himself phase into wherever. Maybe it's not reality. Maybe it's like a different dimension or something. He's just sending it to like his home dimension. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make you do this." It's like, all right, cool. I want to know what it's like on the other side. By all means, send me there for a little bit.
I thought about that, like supposedly people that go abducted, they get abducted and they never come back. Is there just like another Earth-like planet that all these people that go missing and disappear are on now, and it's just like, hey, you're gonna start a new world here, and that's actually where these people are?
I always joke around with my friend Sully, who's probably listening to this. Shout out to Sully. I go, if an advanced alien species came and visited you and was like, "Yo, we'll take you and teach you everything, like you ever wanted to know about the universe, and you can go live on this planet and just live forever and do all of this, but you can never come back to Earth to see any of your family or friends. Would you do it?" It's harder because you actually have like a
Yeah,
family.
if I didn't have a family, maybe, but
I
no,
mean,
I
I
would
don't have a
I would
family.
miss everything way too much. I couldn't do it.
See, I don't have a family, so I'd be like, "See ya." Maybe I don't know, because I have friends that are like family. My friends, oh my family.
Unless we all go.
Just your whole family. But then again, what if they're lying? It's hard to say. I
Right, yeah, you don't know.
think there was like a Twilight Zone episode or like of something like that where like the aliens come and promise all these things to the people, and they're all like, "Come back to our planet and you'll live prosperously forever," and then all the people go back, and it turns out they were lying, and it was like they were like, "We're gonna serve you" and stuff like that. Like the people were like, "Oh, they're gonna like be our slaves and serve us, and we never have to work." And when all the people left, the main character found out. It's like, oh, it's a cookbook. Like they're going to like cook the people. It's a pretty good episode. I just don't remember what it's called.
Hmm.
Twilight Zone. Check it out. Look it up.
Do 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 do.
But back to Men in Black. Um, did you read about or did you listen to the story of Dan Aykroyd and his encounter?
So I've heard, but no, not I'm not familiar with that, but I know that that's happened.
So basically, he was making like a Netflix show or series about UFOs because he's really into
I
that kind
know
of stuff.
there's a documentary that I'm pretty sure he produced. I've seen it.
hmm I think he was gonna do a series, and he said one day outside of the set, he was outside, and maybe it was nighttime or something, and he looked over and there was a black Lincoln.
Across the street.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
a
yes,
black
yes,
Lincoln,
yes.
like you said,
Yes.
and some guy was just grilling him from across the street, like he owed him money or something. Like, "Yo, man, remember that time I let you borrow like $20 and you just ghosted me? Yeah, I'm looking at you right now.
You know who you are.
You know who you are." And then he looked away for like a second, and then like looked back, and the car was gone, and
Gone.
the guy was gone. And then he went back into a set, and they were just like, "Yep, everything's canceled. Like the whole series, this can't happen."
Yeah, it was almost like, well, that guy was outside, there was somebody else inside that did something, and yeah, he goes back and they're, nope, this is done.
And it's like, should have gave me that $20 that you owed me, and you would have had your series.
That's crazy to think, like, could I wonder what would have been said or whatnot to just have that reaction of, all right, this is right now
Just like
done,
a
just
switch.
stop,
It's a
everybody,
switch.
just, we're done.
That's insane. Because I would have watched it. I don't think it actually happened, right? He didn't have a series.
I don't. I'm not too sure. I think I've only seen that one documentary with him.
That's wild. See, they don't even care if you're a celebrity or not. They just see, yo, this human knows too much, digging a little too deep. We
And I
gotta we gotta put a stop to it.
I wonder if you hear the stories about um, even Stephen Greer tells a story about how he has survivor's guilt because other people he's worked with to do all the research and as far as they've gotten have either been killed or they've died and he hasn't yet. And you hear like freak freak situations like John Mack, who wrote the book about the abductions and his findings, and he got killed on his way to a book signing. So makes you wonder if maybe the Men in Black have something to do with that too. Like they're the ones that are supposed to silence the people that get too far into it.
Maybe those people. Well, I don't know about Greer, but maybe the other people got approached by Men in Black and just laughed it off.
Right,
So,
exactly. Like,
yeah,
hey, your next warning, or there isn't going to be a warning. Like, this is it.
I would just be like, can I just be included? Like, I won't tell anybody. I'll just join whatever organization you're part of. Just let me in.
Maybe you can be that passionate about it, you just can't talk about it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll stay quiet. I don't care. I mean, can I tell my friend Shane? Like, no. Just for the record, I wasn't approached by Men in Black, and
Yeah, no,
I don't know any secret
no.
information that I'm holding back from you. I promise.
Everything we've seen is on the internet.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, they made a movie from that, and it was a very popular movie at the time. And I feel like 99% of the people that watched it had no idea of the actual origins of the Men in Black.
I know I didn't. That's for sure.
I for sure didn't. I was also a kid, so like I didn't really.
When did that come out?
97,
97. Yep.
the original one.
Yeah, I was 8.
Oh, there. Wait, I have to say it. I was born in '88. How old was I?
Oh, so you were 9.
I was 9. Yeah. So. Math, not my forte. Not yet. Kinda. Um. Yeah. I don't. Trying to think any other stories.
I know if you look up Men in Black, I know there's supposedly the first ever photo of a guy
He's like peeking
that's
out the
supposed to
corner.
be Men in Black. Yeah, it's actually, I don't remember the story 100%, but the person kept saying that there was a man standing across the street that was like looking every time they looked out the window. Because I don't know if they saw it. They must have saw something or something. And they had it where somebody else was leaving and saw the guy standing across the street, same spot, looking up, and snapped the photo. And yeah, it's like a side profile photo, black and white, of a man, dressed in black, standing.
Well, it is black and white, so
It is a creepy photo, but
he has to be in black or white.
that picture, at least it looks more like a human than non-human.
Yeah, that could have just been like a creeper. Like, yeah, I'm stalking you. It's like,
That could have actually been a government official at that point in time.
yeah, the original. All right, so the original Men in Black were government officials, and if you owe them $20, then they would follow you and creep out from corners. Eventually, we got technologically advanced when we met with the Greys, and they showed us how to biologically engineer half human, half tall gray hybrids, because maybe they're half tall gray, half human. And
The Nordics.
yep, and we didn't really get it right, so that's why they're like, slurred speech and monotone and just not really all there. When you said that, I forgot which one, but you said one of the encounters, the person said they felt like he was being drained, like he was like starting to like shut down.
So supposedly the Man in Black said that he was starting to lose his energy,
Oh,
and he
okay.
needed to like get out of there.
So that makes me wonder too. Like maybe there are like machines,
Or if
or maybe he's hungry.
maybe whatever type of alien they can't be on Earth that long. But it seems like the encounters with Men in Black are never
Quick?
never long.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I meant.
So like, if anybody's ever seen Two-Face the Gray, they talk about an encounter with a Man in Black in there, and the guy says that the length of his driveway and the amount of time it took the Man in Black to get like past the driveway to the point where they didn't know where he went was so fast as impossible. I think they even try reenacting it and trying
They
to
do.
prove that it was impossible.
And it was like he would have at least seen him running. Or
Yeah, he said
something.
like his strides were so long that it was almost inhuman how fast he got out of there.
He definitely phased out of reality, like the coin. But then why would they have cars if they can just do that? Or maybe just to like to be in public if they're more of a public setting, they have cars. So like I don't know.
Maybe. I saw, so it probably wasn't Men in Black, but I remember I was with my wife and we were driving back from my in-laws' house, and there was a point in Connecticut where there was this weird like old townhouse type of thing, and there was two old Lincolns. I will never ever forget this, and my wife can attest to this. There's these old Lincolns on the side of the road at this building, and there's four dudes with like briefcases and dressed like Men in Black with the hat and everything, and they looked like they weren't even period correct to our time. Like it looked like it was
Like
back in
Amish
time.
or something.
It was no, these were like not Amish. These were like, if you thought of Men in Black, that's what these guys looked like, and this will be like burned into my head forever. I will never forget seeing that, and it was just so odd, and it was a weird time. It was actually like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and it was in the summer, so it was still kind of light out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was weird. It was in a weird spot. It gave me, just seeing it made me feel weird, and that was like the only time I've ever seen people dressed like that with like the right cars and stuff. Really creeped me out.
That's like textbook Men in Black,
Yeah,
and like you feeling uneasy too, because that's like part of it.
yeah. It
What,
was
did
just.
you know what Men in Black were at the time of seeing that, or was?
Oh, this was. I think this was last year.
Oh wow.
So this wasn't like a long time ago or anything, and it was startling because we've never seen anything like that there before
Mm-hmm.
or since that one time. And there's a lot of farmland and everything in that area, and I don't know, maybe
Maybe there's
there
an
was
access
something going
point,
on.
to their home dimension, and they were scouting it out because there's an energy surge in that area.
I'm not going to say it was in Woodstock, Connecticut, but it was in Woodstock, Connecticut.
I think
And there's a lot of farmland and weird stuff in that area, and it just,
it stuck out.
yeah, that like a sore thumb. That was,
They weren't wearing straw hats and
no,
overalls,
no,
driving a tractor.
no. And I remember one of the guys standing there looked like the Crypt Keeper. He was so freaking old, dude.
Maybe he was the first Men in Black.
And it was the old style, like square or like rectangle briefcase. Like if you look up to try to buy one of those, you can't even buy one in that style anymore. It was real odd.
Woodstock, Connecticut. Is that far from here?
It's like
Is it over an hour?
45 minutes. That's not bad.
Next time I'm in Connecticut, may take a detour.
The next time I go by it, I'll snap a picture of the building they were in front of.
Do it.
It didn't even look like it was like functional.
Oh wow.
But I had a teacher in high school
Mhm.
that grew up around the Notch,
What's that?
the mountains like out like Amherst,
Oh,
North
yeah,
Hampton,
yeah.
so that area. I don't know exactly where the actual Notch, what town it's in, but and everybody been told it used to be a base during like the Cold War. I
I didn't know
remember
that.
my teacher telling us a story about when he was younger. There's like a diner or something in that area, and the diner is weird. It's like there's nothing really around it. It's kind of in a weird spot, and he said that they were playing out there, and these black cars pulled up to this diner. A bunch of guys got out, black suits, black hat, everything. They went into the diner. They're there for like 2 hours. They came back out, got in the cars, and left. But the diner isn't open. It wasn't like an open diner. He said that they went into this diner, and there was an elevator shaft in the diner, and they took this elevator shaft down into this tunnel, and they walked this tunnel until there was this huge steel door, and they couldn't get past that, and they got like freaked out and they ran out of there. But that,
How long ago was this?
I mean, I
Oh, you
graduated.
said
Yeah, it
high
was when
school.
I was in high school, and he was a kid,
So
so
like 2007.
probably like the '60s.
Oh
And there was
wow.
a lot of, I mean, there was a lot of UFO stuff around that time. Like, just I feel like that's when a lot of it exploded.
Is that diner still there?
I couldn't even tell you where it is. It was just a story that was told to me. That's one that's always stuck in my head as well.
I might go in Batman mode tonight.
Might have to do some diving. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, feel free to
Let us
shoot us a
know.
message.
Yeah, I don't even know how they would do that. We don't have video. Well, you can reach me my personal Instagram, KeithXAwake. So let me know, and I will go there, maybe. So I'm kind of like a coward in the sense that like haunted places and like actual places of interest that are paranormal, I'm like kind of afraid to go to. Like I definitely won't go to a haunted house like that like
Oh,
at all,
yeah, no.
or like a tunnel or woods or anything. That diner definitely interests me. That with enough people, I might go. Like if it was like me, you, maybe a couple others, I would check it out.
Uh, I I would go, but I'm usually the person that's like holding on to the person next
Oh
to me
man, so
and
am
like
I. So
closing my eyes.
let me tell you, if hypothetically we find out about this diner and it's not a diner anymore and it's still like a building, and we obviously we go in and there's a shaft that goes down, I'm not going down. So
No,
that's where it ends.
I just want to see that it could have possibly have been there,
Yeah,
and then I'll just
that's actually a really cool story. So
it's yeah, it's definitely one that's always stuck out to me. I know a lot of people hike in that area and everything else, and if our friends from this area listen to this, they maybe might know something or have heard something. Um,
yeah, I'll do some research on it, see if I can.
if you graduated with me and we went to the same school, you might know who told the story or have heard the story. But I don't want to throw names out. If
Yeah, we want to keep, or we don't want Men in Black showing up to all of your houses because of Shane here. So
and don't show up to mine, please.
yeah,
I know nothing.
you can show up to mine, but like I don't know. We can hang out for like 5 minutes before you start to
Maybe they can tell
lose
you
energy.
where the hell your base was this entire time.
I know that was crazy. I lost my base when I went to Europe like a month ago. Flew into Germany and lost my base. Well, they lost my base after putting in a claim because their customer service doesn't exist for the most part. 3 weeks later, I get a notification that they found it, and I'm like, oh, cool. And they said they were gonna mail it back to Logan Airport in Boston, and then they were gonna deliver it to me. So then 2 weeks go by and still nothing. So I'm like, I call um, Condor Airlines from Germany, and
That's what. Yeah, you were still over there, right?
no. This was like yeah, I was over there while it was missing, and I got home, and 2 weeks went by.
Right.
Like I did a whole other tour without my base, and got home, and I'm like, what's going on? So I call them, and they're like, oh, you have to email. Here's the email because we don't have any access. And then so I'm like, all right. So I email it. It's an automated response. Sorry, we have somebody looking for it. I'm like, this is not helping me. So then I go on Twitter, Facebook, and an Instagram. And finally, their Instagram, they responded and said, "Oh, we'll have our people look into it."
Wait,
Condor
Condor
Airline,
Airlines responded to an
an
Instagram post.
Instagram
Come on,
direct message.
come on.
Yeah, and they were the most helpful people. Like, whoever that was, I hope they get the best raise ever. So they told me, yeah, your base has been in Boston since July 23rd, and it was like August, or it was like literally like last Thursday, and it's like August 18th right now. So I'm like, what? So I call Boston, and this guy answers. He's also the nicest guy ever of all time. Shout outs to Sal from Boston. He lets me know, like, I tell him the whole sob story. He's like, that's crazy. He's like, I'll tell you what, when the place that they hold lost and found stuff opens at 1, but at the end of my shift, I'll go there, see if I see your base, because I described what the case looks like, gave him my name, my number, all of that. He calls me and says, I found it. Sends me a picture.
No
Sends me
way.
a picture of it, and I'm just like, I love you. Um,
So it
and
was sitting there for potentially a month.
yeah. What happened was, I guess they were supposed to be sent out to deliver to me, and there's like a ticket that goes with it. The driver took the ticket but left the base,
Oh my
so
god.
it was never delivered to me, and it was just sitting there, and like nobody knew about it. I don't know
But
if it
your
was.
name was on it.
Yeah, my name was
So
on
they
it.
could have been like,
He
oh,
put
let's look this person up.
he put it into the claim. At this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Logan. It's like an hour and a half drive. I'm just gonna go. I went and I got it. It's in my room. It's intact. The case is a little dinged up, but the base is fine. They didn't take my strings. I had extra strings in there. I'm pretty stoked.
Nice.
Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Had nothing to do with Men in Black, but maybe the Men in Black took my base, held it hostage because
They knew.
they
just
knew.
knew.
And I'm digging a little too deep right now, but I got my base back. So take that, Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, the other people from the other movies that I honestly don't even remember the other movies.
I don't even know if I saw 2 or 3. I think
Yeah,
there's a
there's
3.
there's
right?
like an international one, and there's one where it's like a girl. Women in Black. I'm gonna watch them. I'm off tomorrow. I'm gonna watch all of them.
I got a lot of at-home office stuff to do, so maybe I'll watch one if I can get my kid to watch it.
I gotta move tomorrow, actually, so I'm not gonna watch it. But I think that about covers everything I have about Men in Black.
Yeah, to me Men in Black, it was real, just cut and dry, like right to the.
There's not that many instances of them too.
No, unless there's more that just aren't out there. But there was, the one from Puget Sound. That one was supposedly like one of the first ones that somebody had reported they had seen a man in black. But I think I've heard ones where like there was a person driving a car and they saw a UFO and it was like hovering above the road and they had to stop, and all of a sudden there was a man in black at their window trying to get them out of their car. And
That's
like
so scary.
I've heard so many
ma'am,
different
ma'am.
yeah, different things like if you haven't read the book Abduction by John Mack, you have to read it. There's so many different weird things in there, and I feel like sometimes I get stuff mixed up, which I probably do, but it's a rabbit hole that just I feel like just meshes together. But I think in that book I read about somebody having an encounter with a man in black, and then somebody in a different part of the country having an encounter with a man in black, but it was the same person. And then they realized it was almost like the same person in multiple accounts of issues with like men in black or abduction, and the person always told the same name, and it was weird how they could get from one place to another. And it was almost like, I think there was a situation where there was an encounter almost at the same time, and both people said it was the same guy. So that just brings it back to it not being a real person.
And they had like a name, because I know sometimes a lot of them just have numbers too.
Yeah,
apparently.
they had a name, but who knows if they just did that for the actual book, just to make it a character instead of just a number, or usually that's they just go by a number. So
Like, I'm 8. I'm 14. Sorry. It's kind of funny.
I'm
Uh,
11. My daughter says 11 instead of 11.
11. So yeah. Wow. That's different. Is that the only account of like of them being in multiple places at the
I
same time? Possibly.
possibly, and like I said, it who knows
Yeah. I mean,
how
science
factual.
can be crazy sometimes. You can exist in different points at the same time.
And it makes you wonder. I don't know if I've ever heard any stories about them being in other parts of the world. Like, I
Just
know, like in the UK, UFO sightings and stuff are huge over there, but I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody over there saying that they've encountered them. Like, that would make it more prone to it being, you know, extraterrestrial and maybe working for like the that the big unity of all of for space and with all the different types of aliens and
Galactic
everything else.
Federation, the Ashtar Command.
Yeah.
We'll get into that another time. Ashtar Command. Yeah, that's wild. It's just the U.S., right?
That I mean I haven't I'm sure if I dug into like Men in Black in the UK maybe there'll be some stuff, but just from you know everything I've watched and stuff like that, I've never heard of anything over there. If anybody listens to us from over there and has
Yeah,
any input
actually,
and wants to shoot us some stuff,
I have a homie out there who's into this kind of stuff. I'm gonna not message him now because they're about 5 hours in the future, but I will. I'll find out. I need to write this down. I need to find out about UK Men in Black, and then I gotta find out about this diner. Got a lot to do.
the diner, I would say, if it was a real thing or is a real thing, I'm thinking it's gotta be in like the Northampton, Amherst, Southampton. That it's somewhere in that area. I'm not a Hadley maybe.
So
I'm
it's
not
not in like
100
in the
percent
boonies, boonies. It's just like it's still like in a
right. Somewhere
somewhat
in the
civilized.
UMass area.
Okay. Wow, that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's all I got. That's all you got.
that's all I
That's all
got.
we got
I
for
hope you
you.
guys like it. We thought about maybe we'll throw some questions up on Spotify you guys can answer. Give us some feedback. Let
Yeah.
us know.
As always, spread the word. Let anybody you know that's into this kind of stuff know that we exist. I've had a lot of people last week just come out of the woodworks again saying, "Oh wow, I'm super into this. I had no idea you were super into this." And like, let me be on your podcast. Let me be on your podcast. This is sick.
I've had a lot too, and the more I hear from different people on like, hey, you should talk about this, or I have a story, and like, yeah, you have people that you don't even know have stories. I mean, I was outside the other night with my wife, and I saw something weird in the sky. I'm not going to talk about it now. We can save it for a podcast, but we should have an entire podcast of just different people's stories.
Oh, that would
That
be
would be
cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
Just that's all it is just one podcast of everybody's stories.
Yeah. We can do like if it's a lot of people, we can like break it up
Yeah.
different parts.
Yep. We hope you guys like it. We just enjoy this, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna keep doing it. Peace.
See ya. Hey everyone, I just wanted to throw a little thing in at the end. The story I talked about with the donut shaped UFOs, it was actually the person that was investigating that story that was um, visited by the man in black, not the guy on the ship. It was just the person that was investigating that story.